Welcome to this edition of Newsmakers, where our special guest is Florida Republican Party Chair Leslie Dewar. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Well, you're the relatively new party chair, and what a hand you've been dealt. The governor, the members of the cabinet, all Republicans, strong majority in the legislature, most of the congressional delegation. What do you do to take it up higher?
We make sure that we have good, solid Republican majorities in every House, Senate, even local elections. As the chairman of the Republican Party, it's my job to look at all the grassroots as well. So we look at every county because it starts there. It starts in city, county elections, commissioner elections, on up to the House, Senate, and all the way to the governor. And then by then, we set a good framework for the 2016 presidential elections.
Almost always, whether it's nationally or let's stay here in Florida, the Republican Party seems to be more prolific, prodigious, and successful at fundraising than your Democratic Party counterpart. What do you explain that with?
I think a lot of people identify with the Republican Party. We're out there, we're making sure that businesses thrive by the policies that they set forth through the House and the Senate and the governor. We make sure that citizens in Florida have a better place to live because the governor brings us jobs, over 632,000 private sector jobs he's brought to the state of Florida. And by doing that, everybody gets a job, they become productive in their community, we have great education standards, and that just makes everybody happier, and we can see that those policies from the Republican Party is what led to that.
2 years ago, after the presidential election, the re-election of Barack Obama, also supported in Florida for the second time, the Republican Party nationally, and perhaps some extent in Florida, kind of recast itself and tried to figure out a way to widen the tent, broaden the tent, and the appeal to women, to minorities, to not just white men. How's that going, particularly in Florida?
I think it's going very well, but I think it transcends to everybody. I think we all want to make sure that we have more money in our paycheck. We all want a great education system. We all want to make sure that we have jobs regardless of our background and where we come from. And I think that's what's important.
If we were looking at the most exciting race that's going to face Florida voters in November, obviously it's the governor's race, not just in Florida, but it's being watched all over the country. We've got our incumbent governor, Rick Scott, up against former governor Charlie Crist. The race in most polls is very tight compared to the cabinet races. What's going to be the difference in this race, and who's going to win?
Well, obviously, I think Rick Scott's definitely going to win, but the difference here is performance. We've seen what Rick Scott has done as a governor. He came in, he said what he was going to do. Said he was going to bring us out of the depths of not having too many jobs, we had a high unemployment, and that's when Charlie left us. Charlie left us with a deficit of 832,000 jobs. He left us with a high unemployment, and he left the state of Florida to go run for himself. Governor Scott came in here, chose not to take a salary, chose to go and bring us jobs. He communicated with CEOs all over the states to bring them here to Florida and to create jobs for the citizens of the state. And that's what he's done. He's done exactly what he said he's going to do, and he's put Florida on the map.
Nationally, and to some extent in Florida, Republicans try to tag their Democratic opponents with everything Obama. And how effective and appropriate is that as a strategy?
I think it's very effective because Charlie hugs Obama. Charlie likes everything that Obama stands for. He loves Obamacare. I mean, everything that Obama does, Charlie is for.
But 2 years ago, Floridians did, as a majority who voted, vote for President Obama. So is it really effective here?
I don't think so. I think if you were to have that election again today, people have seen right straight through all of those issues.
Well, let's throw a fun question at you. This is the first time in modern political history in Florida that the two chairs of the two primary parties, Democrats and Republican, are headed by women. What does that say about how women have arrived politically, in business, in every sphere of influence? And what's it say about politics in Florida?
I think what it says is women are getting more involved in politics. Women make up, in the household, they make about 80% of the purchasing decisions when it comes to buying a home. They also are very involved in buying homes. So they make a lot of economic impact in what happens in our state. Thereby, their voice is becoming more and more heard, and they're making inroads into political positions and other positions, powerful positions. So it's interesting that at this point we both are heads of two political parties, and I think you're just seeing more of us become, I don't know, out there more, I guess, visible.
Okay. If you were at a booth on a college campus where young people coming of age where they can register to vote, you're side by side with your Democratic Party counterpart, and you're each making the pitch for why someone should register as a Republican or a Democrat, what is the key pitch for the Republican Party to get young voters?
I think the young voters, they're coming out of college, they're trying to find a job. And one of the things that always happens on a young voter when they get their first paycheck and they look at it and they go, why are my taxes so high? Why do I have to pay that much in taxes? That's when you hit them. That's when you start to hit them and you say, if you want less taxes or they're trying to find a job, you want to find a place that creates jobs, it would be the Republican Party.
Well, with that point, if you went to sleep tonight, I know you have not met your Democratic Party counterpart, Allison Tant Richard, and you woke up tomorrow in a parallel universe, and you, Leslie Dewar, are the chair of the Democratic Party of Florida, what would you do differently with that party?
First, pinch me, because I would hope that that would not happen. And secondly, I'd probably run to the Supervisor of Elections office and change my party right away, because there are so many things that are completely parallel different to the Republican Party, it would take forever to change.
Well, I'm going to ask you if you'll commit that before the election, we might invite you back to sit side by side with Allison Tant Richard and have you politely go at it about the upcoming general election.
I would love to.
Well, thank you, Leslie Dewar, so much for appearing on Newsmakers. Good luck in the coming elections, and we'll see you next time on Newsmakers.